Welcome back to Tall Boy in the Grass podcast. It is me, Frank. And with me, Frank, is he, Marty. Marty, how ye be?
This is the most awkward intro we've had, but I be well. How you be?
I be G.
Keep it G, my homie.
Keeping it real. Okay, today, what we are going to talk about for our third episode of the traditional Tall Boy in the Grass podcast is PUBG. A little game that we've played quite a bit. As a matter of fact, we played it last night. So PUBG is a game released in 2017, created by a guy named PlayerUnknown. It stands for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's based off of a DayZ mod that PlayerUnknown made back in 2013. Since its initial release, it has come out on 8 platforms, sold 75 million copies, and then became free to play where it got even more downloads. It's garnered $4 billion for the console and PC versions. It's the 5th highest selling video game of all time. It was nominated for 32 awards and has broken 7 Guinness World Records, most of them having something to do with how many people are playing at any given time. I think at one point it got up to several million people playing this game simultaneously. It also had a couple of spin-offs. The main one is the mobile version of the game, which is the 2nd highest played and the 3rd highest grossing mobile game of all time, with 1.3 billion, with a B, billion downloads, and has made $9 billion just for the mobile version. And then we've also got PUBG India, which has recently gotten banned in India over some disputes with China. And then PUBG New State, I believe, is the other mobile game. We haven't really played the mobile versions of these games. Marty, I mean, we've been playing this game for 5 years now.
Well, we've been playing since before it was like a full release. So when you say 2017, is that when the pre-release came out?
So it came out on Xbox in the early access, or whatever they call it.
Right.
December of 2017.
Okay, so 5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been playing it since then. I love this game. And, you know, a lot of games come and go. A lot of these, you know, Call of Duties and Battlefields, you play them when they come out, and then you just wait for the new one. You play the new one, and you kind of forget about the old ones.
Yep.
But over the past 5 years, we've left PUBG, but we've always came back to it.
We always come back to it. I don't think there's another Battle Royale that I'm actually willing to play. I liked Apex, and I enjoyed playing it for a while. But at this point, I feel like they've added too many different characters, and the meta is all weird, and the guns aren't that interesting to me because they just feel like you're shooting laser BBs at people, and it doesn't feel solid. But PUBG, man, I love PUBG. I love everything about it, with the exception of the amount of cheaters that we have encountered, and also the lack of people playing it now. Because I think the market has become flooded with Battle Royale games, and this may not be the original Battle Royale game, but it was the one that made Battle Royale a thing in the public space, in the grand scheme of things. Millions of people were playing this game when it came out. I mean, all of our friends would play whenever we all lived together and before everybody got married and had kids.
Right. PUBG, it's kind of like you've got Call of Duty and you've got Battlefield. They did their own spin-off thing for Battle Royale. And of course, you got Fortnite and Apex. You've got all these Battle Royale games. And arguably, some of them do it better than PUBG. But there's something PUBG gives you that these other games just don't. And I don't know what to call it. I don't know how to label it. But you feel it. You know, when you get a winner chicken dinner in PUBG, you feel good.
Oh, yeah.
You feel so good.
It's the serotonin or whatever. The dopamine, there we go. The dopamine levels from winning PUBG are way better than Apex or... I never really got into Warzone enough to even try to win. I did play Fortnite a couple of times and got a couple of whatever theirs is called, and I didn't really like Fortnite either. But PUBG, man, because I feel like the skill levels right now are so high that you really got to work for it to get those. There's a lot of bots playing right now, but the bots aren't the ones you're fighting at the end, you know? When everybody's together, you're fighting the pros. I mean, everybody else is level 500 and have thousands of hours in this game probably, where we do not have that much time in game, but we have played it for a long time, just not every single day like some people have. Man, I just really like that game. I like the feel of it. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the guns themselves, and we're gonna get into that. So the next part that we're gonna get into, so we talked about a little bit of the history of it and our history and how we feel about the game. We're gonna talk about gameplay now. So it's got one main game mode, and that's the Battle Royale. It's got 4-player teams, squads. You got 3-player squads. You've got duos. You've got singles, and then you've got like 1-man squad and stuff like that, where you can jump into squad games. Right. And when I say 3-man squad, I meant like you don't have to have a 4th player. Like you can do squads, but with a private.
Yeah, and you have 3rd person or 1st person.
Exactly. You can do either 3rd person, where you can switch between 3rd and 1st person, and then you have 1st person, where it's strictly 1st person, which we were pretty heavy on the 3rd person for a long time. And then last year we swapped over to 1st person. And I think that was a good change for us. I like it a lot more in the 1st person because you don't have as many like people hiding behind corners and just peeking all the time, which it has its skill level. Like you have that ability to do that as well when you're playing a 3rd person, but it just opens you up to getting ambushed by campers way too much. So I prefer to play 1st person myself. It has team deathmatch. I wouldn't call it a main feature of the game. It's hardly a side feature. It was okay. We played it quite a bit, but I didn't really get the same feeling from it that I did Battle Royale.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the satisfaction of a chicken dinner, but it still is pretty fun every now and then. It's good practice
for the gunplay.
Yeah, you pick up a few different guns. You're getting 20 kills per, team deathmatch game, whereas in a Battle Royale, you might be lucky to get 5, 6, 7 kills tops.
Right.
Unless you're, amongst the best.
Yeah, and you're dropping hot, and everybody else is dropping hot.
Right.
It's got 9 maps as of right now. There's a couple that I don't like. Some of the smaller maps. I don't like the volcano map, and I don't like the city map very much. But the rest of them, I'm either okay with or I really enjoy. Obviously, the original map is awesome, especially whenever it's got like the different weather. The snow map, they've done leaps and bounds with. I really liked it before, but I feel like it's even better now. I do miss the old coal mine, though. The old coal mine was pretty lit.
Yeah.
Miramar, why most people don't like Miramar because of the difficulty in traversing it and the size of the map. I quite enjoy Miramar. We dropped the same place every single time we were on that map. So if you guys are ever on PUBG on Xbox and you're on Miramar, we'll see you at Power Grid. All right. Let's see. The Vietnam map is okay. The
Taego?
I think so. It's one of the smaller maps. Is that Taego?
You're talking about the one with Bantai?
Yeah.
Yeah, we always drop Bantai there.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I like the Korea map. I don't know the name of that one either.
I don't know the name. That's a newer one.
Yeah. And I think there's a few maps that are kind of out of the rotation right now, so I can't really remember all of them off the top of my head because we've played recently, but we weren't playing for a while.
No, Taego is the Korea one. Sandhawk.
Sandhawk, that's right. Yep.
Vietnam.
Yep.
Yeah,
now we don't know if those are the actual countries that these are based off of. That's just what we refer to them as.
Right. So Vikindia is obviously Russia or some Slavic country.
Yeah, I would say it's probably like somewhere in Siberia.
Yeah. And then Erangel, I don't really know where Erangel is.
I think it's Ukraine.
Yeah, we're gonna say some like Slavic farm side,
The school in Erangel,
country.
And I think the hospital in Erangel. Well, I'll get to that later, actually. So yeah, I think Erangel is Ukraine, and then there's the one that we call the Korea map. Taego. I mean, and that's got Hyundais in it, so I feel like it's probably supposed to be Korea.
Miramar, I'm guessing that's Mexico.
Mexico, yeah. Either Mexico or like the American Southwest, but I feel like probably Mexico. But yeah, maps, great variety. None of the maps are like awful, but some of them are way better than others. There are 68 weapons in this game. 68 different weapons that all play different, all feel different, with the exception of the Kar 98 and the Mosin are basically the same thing. At least they've always felt that way to me. I don't know if there's actually a difference between them at all. Besides, one of them's a Mosin and one's a Kar 98. They use the same ammo. They use the same everything. So,
given the choice between the two, I will always choose the Mosin because the Mosin Nagant is a personal weapon that I own, and it has a special place in my heart. And I think the stats between the two are pretty much identical.
Yeah. I always use the Kar 98 because I've always used the Kar 98 in games ever since the original like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty games. Man, but they got such a cool variety. Like the DP28, you don't see that in video games anymore. I mean, they all feel good too. Like the gunplay in them. they have their roles. Like some guns are definitely like the go-tos. Like the M4 is a little OP. The MP5 is, I'd say, quite a bit OP in its current state, but it's been like that for a while.
The UMP has always been OP, and rightfully so, I would say. It's probably one of my favorite guns in any video game.
Yeah. But throwing a 6x on a MP5, especially if you got like a heavy stock, oh my gosh, it's stupid. You're just throwing bullets across the map at people.
You think about it and you think, an SMG with a 6x shooting long distance, that sounds ridiculous. But like PUBG, it's a video game, I'll give it that. But it is pretty realistic, more so than other video games.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Especially the shotguns. I've heard a lot of people complain about shotguns and say, like, oh, this guy shot me from across the map with a double barrel. Like, yeah, 50, 60 yards with a double barrel, that's pretty reasonable in real life.
Yeah, it just depends on what shells you're using.
Yeah.
But I feel like most games just use shotguns as more of like a kill somebody within 10 feet and then tickle somebody anything further than that.
Right.
So I like guns or games that have shotguns with reasonable distance on them. Nothing crazy like the Akimbo 1887s from Modern Warfare 2. But some range. I think Battlefield 4 was the one where they had like a reasonable distance for shotguns, where shotguns were actually useful but not overpowered or crazy. What are some other standout weapons in this?
The P90 as a crate gun has been fantastic, and it is totally reasonable for it to be a crate gun only because it is ridiculously powerful.
Oh yeah, if you could find that in the game, that's all anybody would use.
It's super accurate, has a pretty good magazine size. It has I want to say it's like a 3x sight and a red dot that you can interchange. It's integrally suppressed. Long range, short range, doesn't matter. It shreds. It's awesome. It's fun to use. I love to use it every time I can find it.
Yeah, we haven't really been pushing crates a lot since we picked it back up, just because we're still getting the rust knocked off. So we haven't, or I've really only used the P90 maybe once ever, because I don't really care about the crate guns as much. At least not ones that have their own specific ammo. I prefer like the 5.56 ones or the 7.62 ones, just so I don't have to worry about running out of ammo with it.
They added the Link sniper, and I haven't really used that one, but I'm kind of glad that they've varied the crate guns, because when we first started playing, it was AWM. And every crate was an AWM. And then they started to mix it up with the MK14 a little bit. That is probably my favorite DMR. I love the M14 in real life, and it's fun to use in the game too. But now you've got the MP9, which I haven't actually found in a crate.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, I haven't found it in a crate yet, but I've used it in the training mode, and I think it's integrally suppressed too, and it has a pretty good ammo capacity. But we're going to have to push crates so we can find the MP9 and test it out.
We also got to figure out what map it's on.
Yeah. I mean, if you know, comment, let us know.
Yeah. 16 different vehicles in the game, between boats, gliders, cars, trucks, vans, things that you can throw stuff in the trunk. The C-130, which is one of our personal favorite aircrafts, is in it. That will be it. That's a 17th vehicle. The 16 are all usable vehicles. You can't actually control the C-130s.
Does that count the Chinook too?
No, so that would make it 18 if you count the Chinook.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty wide variety of different things in the game. So whatever your play style is, you can probably find something to suit you. Personally, for me, it depends entirely on the map that I'm on. For the maps that have MP5s and G36, specifically Vikendi, that's my go-to. I call it the German duo. I use the MP5 and the G36. I feel great with that. Erangel, I'm probably using like an M4 or a SAW and then a sniper. Most maps I'm probably using a sniper and then an AR.
Yeah, I feel like you always have to have a long range and then a medium to short range. I would always stick with like some kind of AR and a DMR, specifically the SKS. That's probably my highest leveled gun, the gun that I've used the most. I probably have 1,000 kills with that gun. But now I prefer the bolt actions.
I like the bolt actions.
When you dome somebody with a bolt action and it's a one-hit kill, that's just a really satisfying feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost as good as a chicken dinner, just that one-hit kill.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm really liking the SMGs, the balance that they have now. I feel like the M4 used to be the meta, but the UMP and the Vector are quite good right now.
Yeah. I was having bad luck with the Vector the other day. I don't know if I was just fighting people that had better vests than I realized or what, but I just haven't had good luck with it. I feel like there was a gun the M16 I feel like is underrated. It was pretty OP when the game first came out because you could throw an 8 times on it and use it as a DMR. You can put the 6 times on it now, so you can kind of take it back to there, but I quite enjoy using the M16. I might start using it more. I might use it tonight if we play tonight. Give it a little shot.
It does make a pretty good DMR. I struggle with it, like close to short range. I try to use the burst function, but I'm just not good with it.
Yeah, for me, if I'm going to, like, for close range with it, I don't ADS. I just hold the button, and then I put it on burst, and then you're using it more as a shotgun than you are really a rifle.
Yeah.
The actual gameplay, so we talked about vehicles and weapons and equipment and stuff like that. So that you got different kinds of grenades and usable items for health and stuff like that. But the actual gameplay itself, so how the game works. Fast time to kill, which in some games I don't like. Like Halo would be a game where I don't want a fast time to kill because you're a super soldier in super armor with a shield. This kind of game, and I feel like Call of Duty doesn't do it right in this, and Battlefield doesn't do it right in this. I want a fast time to kill because, and even if it's hurting me as well, I like the more hardcore function of it, because if somebody's getting shot with, let's say, for instance, the Mosin Nagant, that needs to do some damage. Like in Call of Duty, it's going to take like 2-3 hits if you're not hitting them in the head, which is a little ridiculous. And then if they've got armor on, like let's say you're playing the Call of Duty Battle-Royales and whatnot, the war zones, I guarantee that it takes even more than shots than that to the body, even with if they've got the armor on. So
especially with skill-based damage, which is one of the biggest complaints that people have with Warzone right now.
Skill-based damage?
Yeah.
What's skill-based damage?
Well, it's kind of a conspiracy, I think. No one's really proven it, but like if you come off of a fresh win and then you go into the next game and you unload a magazine where you're getting hit, just constant hit markers, and the guy's shields are not breaking. Like I've seen a ton of videos of that from Warzone, and they're calling it, skill-based damage.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. I don't know anything about that, but you don't have to worry about that in PUBG at least.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about that in PUBG. And PUBG has the vest system and the helmet system, so you got level 1, 2, 3, or 0 if you're not wearing anything.
Right.
And I feel like it's pretty reasonable. It's pretty, realistic. If you're wearing a level 3 vest and a level 3 helmet, you're going to be more resistant. If you're not wearing anything and you get hit in the head, almost anything is going to take almost all of your health. You get hit with an M9 in the head with no helmet, it's probably going to kill you.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate about this game. But it's not just like the amount of damage the guns do, but the actual gunplay itself is a lot more difficult, and you need more skill to really master it. When you're unloading an AK, you can't just laser beam that and get a hit every single time with somebody 100 yards away like you could in Call of Duty, where it's just like tick, 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 tick with hit markers. With this game, it's like if you start doing that, it's going all over the place. Like there's no way that you're going to control it.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that every weapon has its own unique recoil pattern.
A lot of games do that. Battlefield 5, I want to say specifically, made a big deal about it. It was like, hey, this is the pattern of it, so you can learn the pattern, and once you learn the pattern, then you can control it easier. I prefer it to be a little random in most games, but I feel like that's...
Well, I'm saying an AK and an M4 are going to have different recoil patterns. Right. And I feel like PUBG does a pretty good job of differentiating those.
Yeah.
It doesn't group it all into ARs all have the same kind of recoil, and SMGs all have the same kind of recoil. It's realistic based off the gun in real life.
Right.
Mostly. Yeah,
mostly. I mean, there's some weird things with it, but they have those restrictions where they can't have 50 different ammo types in the game because that'd be a little too much. So it's 7.62, not 7.62 by 39 or by 54.
You've got the Mosin, you've got the Mark 14, and you've got the AK, which all shoot 7.62, but you've got the 7.62 by 39, 7.62 by 51, and 7.62 by 54R, and you've got the Mosin pistol, which is the sealed cartridge.
Right.
So those are, in real life, 4 different ammos, but in the game, obviously, all just one ammo type, 7.62.
And it's the same with, you've got a 9mm pistol, and you've got the 9mm for the VSS, different 9mm, but that would add way too much complexity to the game that doesn't need it. So I think they do a good job of finding weapons that'll fit into those categories. And even if it doesn't make a load of sense, if you're thinking about it from a weird gun nut perspective, it's still, I think they did a good job with it. Okay, so we said earlier, they got 68 guns, right?
Mm-hmm. They need to add one more.
That's what I was about to ask. What gun would you want brought in to be the 69th?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot right here.
I've already got one in mind.
What's yours? Let's hear it.
Dragunov as a crate gun.
Oh God, why didn't I think of that?
The Dragunov is a crate gun.
We just complained about that about Call of Duty. Like, yeah.
Nobody has a Dragunov anymore.
But realistically, a Dragunov is just a modern version of a Mosin.
I mean, to me, realistically, it's more like a giant beefed up AK, with Mosin ammo.
Yeah.
That's why I want it. Like, that would make a great crate gun. Like, the Lynx is good. I've used the Lynx, but you've only got like 5 or 10 rounds with it.
I really want another LMG because I don't like the the MG3 that they added.
Oh yeah,
the MG42 basically.
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be the MG, not 42, the MG39. I can't remember the MG38, the one from Star Wars. One
of the German.
Yeah, the predecessor to the MG42.
Yeah, I want another LMG. I don't know which one. M60. That's what I want.
Ooh, M60 would be good. An M60 would be very nice.
PUBG, if you're listening, add the M60 for your boy. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd take an M60. Okay, moving on from gameplay. Let's talk about some fun facts about PUBG. All right, some frank facts, if you will, about PUBG. So we've mentioned this phrase a few times throughout the episode. When you win, what does it say?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Marty, where does winner, winner, chicken dinner come from?
I don't know, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say Jurassic Park.
It sure doesn't. I don't think they say that at all in that movie.
I don't know what else you connect things to.
Well, okay. I'm just saying, if you had to guess. So winner, winner, chicken dinner is a phrase that dates back to the 1930s. At the time, a standard bet at a casino was $2, which was just enough to afford a chicken dinner. So players that won their bets could afford to eat chicken.
Nice.
So when they would win, they got a chicken dinner. There you go. Now you know where chicken dinner comes from. Here's another one, and this is we alluded to earlier when we talked about the amount of cheaters that we've had to deal with. PUBG bans over 100,000 cheaters a week.
A week?
A week.
Oh my God.
That was probably at their peak when they had their most players, but that's still crazy.
You mean when the meme of China number one?
Yeah, China number one, China number one. I absolutely hated playing with Chinese players. Like, not Chinese as in ethnically Chinese, like Chinese as in nationality. Like, they lived in China, okay, because they were hackers, and they would just drop us. I remember it was like my first time about to clutch a chicken dinner, and there was one guy left, and I had my scope set on him. He did not even see me. He wasn't looking in my direction. He was just standing on top of a hill. As soon as I clicked the button to shoot him in the head, I died. And then I watched, well, I don't even know if they had the playbacks back then, but I just remember him just turning and shooting before the bullet even got to, like, I don't know. It was awful. I hated it.
Do you remember that video that, I don't know who made it or when it came out, but it was PUBG, and it was like it was two cheaters against each other, right? And it was not realistic.
Oh, yeah,
but it was one guy that had like 6 pans, and they were all spinning in a circle with a big shield, and the other guy had a bunch of Car 98s. Just
yeah, that was a funny video.
Yeah, but it kind of drew the light to China number one and all the cheaters.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I mean, it's kind of weird to think about how influential PUBG was back then. There was a lot of YouTube channels doing it. PewDiePie almost got canceled because of PUBG. Famously. I mean, PUBG was huge before Warzone and Fortnite. So, I don't know. I wish it'd go back to that. I think PUBG deserves more following than it currently has. And if there's ever a PUBG 2, I mean, I'm looking for a PUBG 2 because PUBG was made in Unreal Engine 4. So, we've got Unreal Engine 5.
I think a lot of people probably played PUBG before it was even fully released, and they got a bad taste for it because it looked like Play-Doh, right?
Yeah.
Buildings wouldn't load, looting was hard, which they've fixed a ton of that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more accessible now.
It looks a lot better, the mechanics are a lot better, and I'll say to anyone that played it when it first came out or even before it released and you got a bad taste for it, give it another shot. I think you might like it.
Yeah. I think another reason why there's so few people playing it now is because of how big it was in India. And when it got banned in India, I think that was like 25% of the players for PUBG came from India. So, India, if you're listening, come back to PUBG. All right, unban it. Unban it. I know China not number one, okay? China bad.
Hey, we're with you there.
Yeah, we're Americans. It's not like we love China. But we do love PUBG, and we need you to come back, okay? Don't blame everybody else for China, okay? Especially not PUBG. They don't deserve it. So please consider coming back. We miss you.
Do we know Player Unknown's origins? Where he's from?
His name's Brendan Green. I know that he moved to Korea.
Well, I guess he's Player Known now.
Yeah. I don't know where he was from originally, but whenever PUBG was getting made, he moved to Korea to make it.
It kind of makes sense with Taego because that definitely feels Korean.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is pretty big in Korea, too.
Yeah.
There's been some crossovers with Korean stuff, I think.
Oh, did you include the McLaren when you talked about vehicles?
Oh, no.
So we are at 69.
Well,
no, that was guns.
That's a different list.
That was guns, yeah.
Well, the McLaren wasn't on the official wiki. But, yeah, you can drive a McLaren in it, which is something most of us will never do in real life.
I still haven't done it in the game.
Touche.
But whoever set that partnership up, good job.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird crossover. Speaking of crossovers, just a few months ago, about 6 months ago, in June of 2022, PUBG did a crossover with Jurassic World. Funny enough.
Like actually Jurassic World.
Yep, the actual Jurassic World.
Go on.
I didn't play it because I had just moved in with you, so we weren't really gaming at the time. So I don't know what actually happened in the crossover event. I haven't been able to find any videos of it. But there was a crossover event.
You're telling me there was a Jurassic World crossover with PUBG and we missed it?
I think it may have just been on mobile.
Ah, okay.
But, I mean, there's a lot of dinosaurs in the main game as well. You've got the Dino Park in Vikindi. You've got a Jurassic Park style weapon charm.
You just reminded me. There's another gun that I want to be added. The Spaz.
Oh, the Spaz. Ooh. Yeah, I love the Spaz. Speaking of the Spaz, France, okay? Is it a French gun or is it an Italian gun? I can never remember.
I do not know. My instincts say Italian, but I'm not sure.
My instincts also say Italian, but I do not. I know why I always think it's France, but it's actually Italian. The company is Franchi or whatever, Franchi.
Right.
So, Franchi, whatever, the Spaz 12. Awesome gun. This company, Franchi, whatever, I need you to open up a manufacturer in the United States. I know Texas is willing to take you. Arkansas is willing to take you. Louisiana probably. Anywhere in the South, put a factory in. Let us continue to buy the Spaz 12. We can't get them because they banned the importing of them. So I need you guys to open a factory here so we can start buying them. I will pay a lot of money for it, but I don't want to pay as much as I'd have to pay right now. Same with the Dragunov. So Kalashnikov or whoever. No, I'm just kidding. Probably don't want Russian manufacturers in here, but they can just send their parts to Century Arms and then they'll build it. But I don't know if I want to see a Dragunov because after seeing what happened with your last Century Arms gun.
Well, my most recent Century Arms gun is an AK, and I love it.
Oh, well, there were one before that then. Man, yeah, Spaz 12 would be a good ad. And connected to Jurassic Park. But there's also what is that thing called? The emblem for your player card.
Oh, the emblem for your your player card, and then there's the weapon charm. Yeah. You might have already said that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jurassic Park references in PUBG for some reason. I guess the guy just really likes it.
There's also a dinosaur suit that you can wear on your person.
Yeah, but
not Jurassic Park.
No, it looks more like Barney but green.
Yeah.
Did you know that some of the locations in the game are based off of real places? The school in Erangel, which I actually believe now is pronounced Erangel.
Don't like that.
I don't like that either, but I found out today it's named after his daughter, which is Erin, and he mixed it with the word angel. So Erangel is how I would pronounce that based off of that.
It sounds like arranging something.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm still going to stick with Erangel because it sounds better, but the hospital in Erangel and the school from Erangel are based off of real places. The school's from Chernobyl, I want to say. The hospital might also be, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
I do get a lot of Chernobyl vibes from Erangel.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say earlier, was Erangel is based off of Ukraine because it's based off of, like, Chernobyl. Here's a weird one. On Miramar, Hacienda del Patron, that's Pablo Escobar's house.
Oh,
yeah.
Did not know that.
I did not know that either, but there we go. What are you about to say something?
Yeah, I was about to say, of course, Erangel or Erangel was based off of Chernobyl. Why didn't we think about that?
There's a giant nuclear plant?
Yeah, you got the nuclear plant and the burned forest next to it.
Oh, yeah. Milta?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Now we're feeling like idiots. So that about wraps it up for PUBG. We talked a little bit about its history, a little about the gameplay of it, and there's some fun facts.
I feel like we could talk more about it if we had the time.
Yeah.
I really love this game, and I'd love to talk more about it. But yeah, if they ever make a PUBG 2,
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm all for it.
I'm in. There is a PUBG universe. There's more games in that universe than PUBG. None of them are like PUBG, so I'm not going to play any of them. We'll see what they come out with in the future, because PlayerUnknown has been working on a game for a while now called Prologue, which is supposed to be, I guess, about the events leading up to PUBG. And allegedly, I've heard rumors in the past that it's supposed to be like the size of a planet. Allegedly. I don't know what they're going to do with it. We'll see what happens with it. But yes, PUBG 2, looking forward to it. Anybody listening, hop back onto PUBG if it's been a while for you and you like the game. If you don't like the game and you're listening to this, well, thanks for listening through an entire podcast about a video game that you probably don't want to play. I'd recommend that you try it, though. I'm sure you got a kid who has a game console, get PUBG. It's worth it. It's fun. You're going to have a blast. It's hard, though, so don't quit. Don't give up. All right, Marty learned that lesson with a few games where he first started playing. He's like, man, this game sucks. I'm uninstalling it. And then he reinstalls it when nobody's looking, and he plays it by himself. He's like, okay, this game's not too bad.
Yeah. Now that you've revealed my secret, what I do, right, I play with people, and I'm terrible at it because it's my first time. I get mad, I uninstall it, and then I secretly play without my friends, and they don't know that I'm actually playing and practicing and becoming good. And then I'm like, hey, let's try that game again. And I pretend like it's only the second time I've ever played, but now I'm 100 hours in, and I'm actually pretty good at it.
Yeah, he thinks it's a secret, but everybody already knew.
Shut up, Frank.
I have lived with you a couple of times. So, yeah, Apex, it was so funny. So, Apex came out. It was free. And I was like, hey, man, there's this game that came out. It's called Apex. He's like, okay, we'll try it. We played one game. He's like, this game is effing stupid. I hate it. I'm never playing this crap. Stupid game. Uninstalls it. And then, I don't know how long it was. It had to be probably less than a month later. He had reinstalled it and started playing. And then it was the only thing he ever wanted to play for like a year and a half. This guy was Apex? Apex, bro? You want to play some Apex, bro? It was so funny. He does that with a lot of games. Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
By the way, we are such PUBG, I don't want to say addicts, but we play it so much that my name, my contact in his phone is PUBG ?
Yeah.
Because every time I text him, it's PUBG ?
Yep.
You want to play, bro?
And mine is...
Yours is put a baby in Sydney, but you already did that.
Okay, moving on. We probably just cut out a bunch of random silliness. So, like I was saying before, we've talked about the gameplay. We've talked about the history of it. We've talked about, our feelings and some fun facts about it, what we're hoping from the future of it. But if you guys could just come back and play with us, that'd be great. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're on YouTube. Make sure whatever platform you're on, you like it if you can. You follow, subscribe, tweet, retweet, whatever you got to do to get us out there. We've actually hit, I think it was about 165-ish listeners in our first month, which is amazing. So thank you to everybody who listened and is going to listen in the future. We really appreciate your support, even though that's like we're not in it for anything other than just to hang out. But I will push this to make, if you want us to have better quality stuff or just to support us being able to chill together and have fun, we do have a Patreon now. So if you are interested in that, there's levels from $1 to $3, $5, whatever. Nothing crazy unless you want to. That's on you. We do have a private Discord that we're going to be asking questions on. If you guys have any suggestions, you want your voice heard directly with us, that's a great option for you. And obviously you can always comment on whatever platform you're on if it allows commenting, because we're going to read those too. Marty, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, just thank you for listening. Thank you for following. We are pretty chill guys, pretty open-minded. Like, if you actually have any advice, any comments, anything you want to hear us talk about, let us know. And again, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's the episode. So, bye.
Later.